What's going on, everybody? This is Tyler Weeb from Pro Physique, and today we're going to talk about how many meals should you be eating in a day. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. So, nothing like starting the new year with having to put off certain goals. Last week, me and my wife got just absolutely lambasted being sick. So basically, Wednesday to Saturday, I had handfuls of goldfish crackers, and that was about it. One of my goals was just to be able to do more content for you guys this year, and my goal is 2 to 3 videos a week. And I was so excited to start it last week, and it just didn't happen. But all better now. We're good to go, and now it's time to get started. So a few weeks late, but hey, as long as we're getting it done, right? Anyways, today I wanted to talk about how many meals should you be eating in a day, or what is probably going to be the most optimal in a day. A while back, a big recommendation was that you should be eating 6 meals a day, 7 meals a day. You know, it's kind of really getting up there, close to almost like 10 meals a day. And the idea was the more you eat, the more that you're going to stoke that metabolic fire, right? You're always getting the metabolism going, digesting, etc., and just really pushing it. Well, that still is prevalent today, and some people, and this is a question that I do get quite often, it's like, well, how many meals should I eat in a day? 6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1, like what is it? And so I thought this would be something really good to talk about, because I think that there is a good recommendation for everyone that this is what they should aim for hitting a certain amount of meals per day. And it is not the 6 meals per day. I'll be saying that at the end of the day, it does not matter, all right? If you get your calories in by the end of the day, then it was just happened to be 7 meals that day, right? You're kind of almost like snacking throughout the day, but still hitting your targets. Or it was like 2 big meals because you just had a crazy busy day, right? And yes, all you had time for, that's okay. Not the most ideal, and probably should not be done all of the time, but if it happens on like a once or twice off, you're gonna be fine. So let's just get that out of the way. But for me, and what I like to recommend to my clients when I send them their starting nutrition, is 3 to 4 meals a day. That what I feel is quite ideal, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, it's very easy to break up your protein throughout the day with 3 to 4 meals. So what I really like to do is I like to have my protein target, divide by however many meals I eat in a day, which is typically 3 big meals, and I just try and roughly hit that number for each meal. So we ideally want protein every 4 to 6 hours. That's how long muscle protein synthesis will last, kind of right in that time frame, so that we want to make sure that we are getting at least 30 grams of high quality protein every 4 to 6 hours. And I find just with 3 to 4 meals, it's very easy to break that up. And I'm maybe on the higher side for protein. I have 235 grams of protein a day, and so that makes it easy for me to hit. Now, is it exact every meal? No, but it gives me a good rough number to hit. And if you're, continually trying to consume, only 20 grams of protein, 15 grams of protein, 6, 7 meals, you're really going to be hard to hit that leucine threshold and really being able to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. All right, so that is number 1. Number 2, and I think this is especially important for people who are dieting, is the insulin response to eating carbohydrates. So every single time that you eat, we are stimulating an insulin response where it is storing glycogen or glucose into glycogen in the muscle and in the liver, right? But when we are resting, right, so when we are not doing activity, and if you have a higher carbohydrate ratio for your macronutrient profile, fat is the primary fuel source while at rest, right? As long as there's nothing interfering with it, aka that insulin response of eating. So if you are continually eating every 1 hour, 2 hours, which it's roughly 2 hours it takes about everything to digest, you're never giving the body a chance to get into that using fat as its fuel source throughout the day, right? So because you're continually stimulating that insulin response of storing glucose, right? And so you're actually probably hindering yourself and not being able to lose body fat. Now I'm saying that like if you're not losing body fat, like this is the only reason, like there are other factors obviously, but this is a strategy that you can use to really help yourself along with that fat loss process. And so if we come back to that every 4 to 6 hours, you can see where we're giving the body that opportunity while at rest without the interference of the glucose storage. It's going to start using body fat as its energy source, right? That's just the way the body will work, right? We use primarily, carbohydrates during our workouts. That's what we're burning through when we're exercising, and then when we're at rest, the body will shift over to using fat as its primary fuel source. And you're only working out an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, maybe, and then you're resting the rest of the time, having meals every 4 to 6 hours. You can see where that could be very beneficial to the fat loss process. And I think just even when someone is in a reverse, to continually have that insulin response and not giving the body a break from it is just going to be so important to keeping, yourself insulin sensitive, especially as calories start to get higher, right? So that's reason number 2. And I think probably the biggest reason, especially if you're dieting, for the argument for 3 to 4 meals a day. And also, just a quick side note on the dieting is as calories get lower, you're not going to want to have 5-6 meals. You're never going to be full. So if you can have like one big meal or 3 big meals spread out over the day, chances are it's going to take longer to digest and you are going to feel a little bit more full throughout the day, and that's just going to be more appealing than constantly being hungry. Okay, but moving on. So we have protein spreading out. We have the insulin response and being able to use fat as our main fuel source while at rest, not triggering that insulin response of storing glucose. And then we also have making sure that we are having enough carbs for our pre-workout and enough carbs for our post-workout as well. So why is this important? Well, pre-workout, obviously we want to have energy going into our gym session, right? The most important thing is bringing that intensity to the gym session. And if we are doing it on an empty stomach or not on a primary fuel source that is used during those short bursts of intensity and working, chances are you're going to burn out pretty quickly, right? You might be able to get through 10, 25, 30 minutes of your workout, but things are going to start to taper as we start to kind of run out of those glycogen storages. And so we want to make sure that we are continually having those filled, that we will be able to bring the intensity to the gym session. And then post-workout, that is when the body is probably going to be the most insulin sensitive to storing glucose as glycogen and repairing the body. And so we want to make sure that we have enough carbs for our post-workout so that we can start the repairing process. Right, so during that post-workout period, roughly about 2 hours, that's the window that you have, right? We don't have that small 30-minute anabolic window, but we now do know that we have about 2 hours to really start the repair process of getting some protein in and getting our carbohydrates in, because that's when it's going to really start to uptick into the muscle and really start the repair process of the muscle. And if we are continually having 6 meals a day, well, we might find ourselves without carbohydrates in and around that time when they are best utilized and the most important to us. So that it would be another huge reason for maybe 3 or 4 meals a day where you have, take me for example. So this is kind of my routine. I get to work out in the morning, so it is going to be a bit different for those who don't work out in the morning, but it's wake up, get some work done, then I will have either like a shake or some yogurt, so I'm getting some protein in because I have fasted for 8 to 10 hours, so I want to start the muscle protein synthesis going again, and then I'll also have some very fast acting carbohydrates. So for me, because my carbs are so high at this point, that is in the form of Pop-Tarts, right? It is a fast acting carbohydrate. I can take it 30 to 45 minutes before my workout. It'll quickly digest, it's easy on my stomach, and it gives me enough carbohydrates to make sure that I'm having a solid workout. Then I will come home, I'll have then a bigger meal, or I'll have some core nutritionals post-workout shake, which is absolutely fantastic if you want to get some carbs and protein in right away and start the process as soon as you can, and then you can go home and have your meal about an hour later. I'll have a bigger carbohydrate meal, again, because the body's a bit more insulin sensitive at this point post-workout, right? And then, depending on what my day looks like, I'll either have 2 more meals or 1 more meal. Just depending on where we're at with the day, at what time did I go to my workout, sometimes a little bit later, but it does play that way. And so 3 to 4 meals is going to be absolutely perfect, I think, for the majority of people. But again, at the end of the day, it does not matter if you have to have some bigger meals or some more meals throughout the day, whether it's 6, maybe you have 2 meals, you're gonna be okay. Again though, let's try and keep it at 3 to 4. I really do believe that's gonna be pretty ideal for most people. All right guys, that is everything for today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you would be so kind, please hit that subscribe button down below. And if you would like to see any topics in future videos, please leave a message down below, shoot me an email, whatever. I would love to hear what you guys want to hear about, right? That's what we're here for. My goal this year is to put out a lot more content, grow this YouTube page, and so you know, I've got topics to talk about for sure, what I think, you know, people like to hear and want to hear. You know, questions from my clients, that's what I use, trends that I see, but if there's anything specific that you want to see, make sure to let me know. All right guys, have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll chat soon.